जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनतीरावनचारी। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। जय हो राधा श्यामा सुंदर राधा श्यामा सुंदर राधे। जय हो राधा श्यामा सुंदर राधा श्यामा सुंदर राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता। नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन गौर हरे। जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन जय सचिनंदन गौर हरे। गौरा गौरा गौर हरे। गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि। निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय गौर हरि। गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। मायपुर चंद्रा गौर हरि। Mayapur Chandra Gaura Hari Nadiya Bihari Gaura Hari Gaura 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 Hari Gaura 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 Hari Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Sata Sri Srimati Devangi Desi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotra Sata Sri Srimati Devangi Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Anta Kodi Vaishnavanda Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगामयी यमुनामाई की जय भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय निताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ऑल glories to the assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण all glories to the assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण all glories to the assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण all glories all glories all glories all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Prabhupada की जय ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्यानंद नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरि ओम तत्सत थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर जॉइनिंग रीडिंग फ्रॉम भगवद गीता chapter 2 contents of Gita summarized verse number 40 let me share open that verse and share okay what happened to the screen you can see the screen you can see the verse those who are on the Google Meet you are able to see the verse or no you're able to
No,
see
we cannot.
huh Sridhar Prabhu, you are able to see the verse? Sanjay Prabhu, somebody can confirm?
No, we cannot. I mean,
No?
I cannot at least.
Okay, let me stop sharing it. Now, maybe just a tab. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now?
Yes, now it's fine.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Hari Om Tat Sat. So 2.2 chapter contents of Gita summarized verse number 40 नेहाविक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमस्य धर्मस्य त्रायतो महतो भयात् नेहाविक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमपि यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायतो महतो भयात् नेहाविक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमस्य धर्मस्य त्रायतो महतो भयात् word to word translation. Now, there is not, in this yoga, abhikrama, in endeavoring, nasa, loss, asti, there is, pratyavayu, diminution, never, Vidyate, there is. Sualpam, a little. Api, although. Asya, of this. Dharmasya, occupation. Trayate, releases. Mahataha, from very great. Bayat, danger. Translation by Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Repeat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. We will try to understand now what Krishna is trying to tell. What happens, what type of fear here Krishna is talking about, and we will share. Let me see how this will work. To share this. Sharing the entire window. Can you see the screen? The universe picture? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. For a minute we will stop and then we will share when it is needed. Okay. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णववृन्द की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। So this verse is telling, Krishna is speaking from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized, where we are in. This is first section is verse number 1 to 6, where Arjuna was giving the fifth reason that he is not able to fight, he is not able to decide whether to renounce, go to forest or to fight, what he should do. He couldn't decide. So then he came to that is the 1 to 6, and he is also understanding that he has some defects. He needs somebody's higher guidance, spiritual master. So that is the position 1 to 6, pre-qualification before surrendering, before initiation, before coming to take shelter of a guru. Then verse number 7, the second section begins, where Arjuna surrenders. Okay, now it is a time, no more wastage of time, let me surrender. He made Krishna as spiritual master. That is 2.7. He submitted that I am weak, I don't know what to do, please tell me which is going to give permanent result, not just about this fight today I may enjoy, but I want something which is going to give eternal benefit. So whatever that is, please tell me. So that's what is asked. And then next section, then Krishna started explaining from 11th verse onwards, beginning Krishna's instructions. Sankhya Yoga or Gnana Yoga, which is nothing but analytical study of a body and a soul in great detail for almost 20 verses, from verse number 11 verse number 11 to all the way to 29. 29. Krishna is speaking about the Sankhya Yoga or Gnana Yoga is also called. So Sankhya Yoga means is analytical study. In the Bhagavad Gita context, it's more just body and soul. What is characteristics of the body, which is temporary, and it doesn't endure, but the soul is always eternal, and it cannot be, it will not be burned, it cannot be withered, it cannot be moistened, nobody can see it. It's 1/10,000th tip of the hair, so small. So these are the various characteristics Krishna is speaking in this. But if the same thing in Srimad Bhagavatam in great detail is explained, Sankhya Yoga, where the whole creation, how this material world is getting created by the glance of Mahavishnu. So that is called actually Sankhya Yoga in great detail. Same thing in Bhagavad Gita, which Lord in the form from Krishna's incarnation as Lord Kapila, son of Mother Devahuti and Kardamuni. He is explaining to his own mother Devahuti about all this, how creation is happening, how by the Lord's glance 24 elements one by one appeared, karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, pancha mahabhutas, um, mind, intelligence, pulse, ego, all these total with the time factor and the soul, everything together, with Mahatattva 25, 24 to 26, depending on how you add all this. Then these are nothing but understanding this whole aspect of one by one the sequence, how it is happening. That is called Sankhya Yoga. But ultimately, the destination or the essence of Sankhya Yoga is to take a living entity with that knowledge, understanding, to come to bring it close to Krishna, understanding the essence of and who is the actual proprietor, who is the source of all these elements, whatever we see in this material, where it is coming from. That is the crux of that is the essence of actual Gnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga in this particular section of section number 3 in this second chapter. Then Krishna talks about, okay, forget about this. Now, first of all, you come to at least perform your duty. You completely lost your focus on the duty, and then you want to renounce, go to forest. Then he talking about, okay, karma and swadharma. Verse number 30 onward, 32 all the way to 39, Krishna is speaking swadharma, and then removing his questions and doubts. Arjuna raised 5 questions. I have compassion for my own family. I don't want to fight. And then I have compassion. I don't want to fight because there is no enjoyment. And then I don't want to fight because sinful activity. Then Krishna is speaking. Then Krishna address all these 3 questions. That if you don't fight, if you don't do your swadharma or karma, then you are going to incur sinful activity. Rather, you are telling the opposite. But as per Shastra, you are supposed to engage in duty. That's when either you will get heavenly planets or you will enjoy the kingdom. Either way, there is no loss. But if you don't do the dharma, your own activity, you want to take up somebody else's dharma and renounce, go to forest, then that is sinful activity. You have to face the reactions. So you better do it. And that is what karma is. Then, okay, you understood some knowledge you got, then you understood what is supposed to be done as a karma, dharma. Now, then come to the next stage, Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, that means you shouldn't be attached to results. In 39th verse, Krishna is explaining. So far, I have explained you analytically Sankhya Yoga. Now I am going to explain about the Buddhi Yoga, or without attached to the fruitive results. So then before that, if I am performing the work, why should I not get the results? Why should I be not attached to results? What is the benefit for me? So that's why Krishna is giving the reason, giving the assurance in this specific verse. Neha abhikramanasvasti pratyavayona vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. One who is performing this bhakti yoga, nishkama karma, with Bhagavad Arpita. Nishkama karma, many might open hospitals or doing so many philanthropic work, but may not be understanding, may not be thinking that this belongs to Krishna. I am doing for the pleasure of Krishna. They might be doing it, but not expecting anything in return. But that's not going to bring them close to Krishna. They are not going to be liberated to especially entering into Vaikuntha, where there is no anxiety. But still they have to come back to this material world because they are not attached to they haven't taken the shelter of the Supreme Lord in a personal form. So that is the drawback of that. That's why it is always Nishkama Karma with Bhagavad Arpita Nishkama Karma. That's what Krishna is speaking later on in 41 to 49 all the way to 72. Different layers are there. 41 to 49 is talking Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then 49 to 60, 72 is talking about Samadhi, is talking about the actual Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga in great detail. So, but again, still it's only short, very brief. Later on, middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is talking about Bhakti Yoga. Now coming back to this verse, what is this fear? Here it is mentioned, Salpamasya Dharmasya Trayato Mahato Bhayat. What is that greatest danger? Greatest danger is nothing but we have faced many difficulties, but the greatest danger, greatest fear anybody has is to give up all this, leave everyone else, or family, or job, or money, or car, or whatever we have belongings. We have to leave and then take up another body. So that is a death, change of body. And that is the first instruction Krishna is giving actually in Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Dehinosya yata dehe kaumaram yavaram jara tata dehantar prap derastatra namuhyati. Your You are used to be a child for 5 years old, and then you grow up into teenage, then you become adult, then you become old, then you're going to same way, but the same person, you are the same soul, just the body is different. If you want the body of a child, you cannot get it, it's already gone, that body is not no longer there. Same way, the at the time of at the when the time comes after the when we come to the old age, sometimes it may happen at the adult age, because there is no certainty. Like Parikshit Maharaj, at least he has been given 7 days before dying. But for us, for most of the living entities, there is no guarantee, there is no hint or indication that we'll live this much, this long, we're going to pass away at this time. That indication is not given most of the times, except special cases. But spiritual masters, they know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. So, because Paramatma is guiding them, they are servant, the representative of servant godhead. So that's why it is important. So then, so that's why, yeah, the fear is the greatest danger. So, death is the greatest danger. Now, understanding more, little more, one, whoever is taking birth, definitely they have to leave this body, take up another body, and then they have to take birth. Means birth is guaranteed, death is guaranteed, and the whoever is dying, the again birth is guaranteed. As I mentioned, Krishna is mentioning 2 point, I think 20. I think what is the verse? 20. I forget the verse number. Where Jatasya Dhruvam Mrutam Janma Mrutasya. So one who's taking birth has to die, and the one who's dying, he will take birth again. So Tasmad Apariharya De Yuddhosvabha. So don't lament. Nattam Sochitam Arhasi. Don't lament. Just get up and fight. Because this is going to happen. Don't lament about the Bhishma and Drona or anybody else and your family members. Now, coming back the birth itself, let's understand the first birth, then we will come to the death. What will happen? What type of body we are going to have at the time of death? Immediately, we are going to take another body. This whatever we are seeing right now, because this body is made up of gross body, subtle body, and gross and subtle body right now. But when it becomes completely pure, what happens? That also we'll discuss. So this gross body is nothing but made up of 5 elements, starting from earth, water, air, fire, ether. These are the 5 gross elements. It is there in a human body, it is there in animal, birds, reptile, all living entities. In everywhere, these 5 elements are constant. They are there, but some are more predominant, some are less predominant. Like if you go to sun planet, fire element is predominant. That's why they can live. But so, if you want to enter into spiritual world, if you want to understand Krishna, then we have to become a fire. Like, because if without becoming a fire, you cannot touch fire, you cannot enter into fire. So that means we have to be pure, because Krishna is pure. So spiritual world is pure. There is no sinful activity. There is no contamination there. So that's why we have to come to that pure state. So that's why we are here. That we have to definitely understand. But first understand the birth. So at the time of birth, it is mentioned karmana daiva netrena jantor deho upavaptaye pravishta udaram pumso cheta kanasraya. Yeah, kanasraya. So where it is mentioned by the divine supervision, divine and supervision of the Lord, karmana daiva netrena means supreme Lord. And based on our activities, what karma we have performed in the past life, jantor, we are getting, jantor means body, certain type of body, certain type of family, in certain type of planetary system, earthly planet we are in a certain place, like we are in America, we are born in India, and or maybe we are born here, whatever, depending on each person is different. So this is jantor upapataye. How it is happening? The man and woman coming, they basically discharging the semen, and then coming, and then the soul is entering. How it is entering? There are also chit kanashraya. Not chit. What is mentioned? I forget. Reta kanashraya. Reta kanashraya. Striya pravishta udaram punso reta kanashraya. Reta means virya, semen. Punso, the male, and then automatic injecting, and then woman become pregnant. But there it is a subtle point is explained. Actually, it is not, because so many people might want procreation, might want kids, but they cannot produce. Same activity they might be performing, but they cannot produce. So then, if just by engaging in that procreation activity, if the soul is coming, if the soul is generated automatically without any divine intervention, without any process, then why is it not happening for everyone? Why is it so? That's why Shastra is explaining in the eighth chapter, attaining the supreme, verse number 3, in the purport, it is explained, Prabhupada explained, the soul, the living, the it is soul is passing through the rain. Okay, soul is coming through the rain. Through the rain, the grains are produced, as it is Annat Bhavanti Bhutani Pajjana Dana Sambhava. In that verse, it is clearly laid out how human beings must subsist on grains, and the grains are produced of the rains. Because of rain, rains are coming only if you perform sacrifices. Those sacrifices are coming from prescribed duties, and those prescribed duties are situated in transcendence. That is coming, I am prescribing, I am giving those prescriptions in order for you to enjoy in this material, to even sustain in this material world. So you have to follow. So there it is written, through the rains, the soul is entering into the grains. Grains are produced. And then when the living entity man eats that grain, then the soul is entering through it, then it turns into semen. That's why so much energy we don't know, because we take it very easily, very lightly. But it takes to produce one semen, it takes so much gallons of blood, so much energy, then only it can produce. So that's why there is in the olden days, not now, before 100 200 years ago, there's a step, almost in 20, almost 18 20 years, completely fully fixed up. They're not even thinking or want to get married until that point, because they are going through Gurukul, they are fully celibate. So that's why they can absorb things. They can, as soon as they hear, immediately they can remember things for a whole life. So that's how they're sharp they have, because the energy is very much intact, very much used, and all the 10 kinds of air is complete in pure state. But the minute we utilize procreation in different ways, then it causes the energy, so much energy is being divested, then and we cannot remember things, we will not be sharp. So that is one aspect of it. But the soul is through the rain, it is entering through the grain, and then through grain, then when man eats, that's when actually the soul is discharging and coming into the semen, because man is eating the grain. So that's why specifically on Ekadasis, we are not supposed to, the Papa Purusha, the Papa Purusha is there in the grain. So we are not supposed to take the grain, especially on Ekadasi days. So we have to be very careful. In general, also, we should take only Krishna Prasad. When it is not taken Krishna Prasad, then it's a sinful activity. 3.9 Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking. Ignas estas, santo muchante sarvakilvi bunjate to agam pava pachante atma karana. As much as possible, we should try to use what is offered to Krishna and take it, because otherwise we are getting the reaction. So whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, that is what is going to happen. Because it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, reaction is going to happen. Just like the state rules, government rules, it is not your belief, what you like, what you don't like. You just need to follow, because that's where you are. You are governed by the country. Same way, as the minute you are in the material world, you are governed by the material laws of the material nature. Governed maya dakshena prakriti suvite sacharajaram. So there is no question of faith, there is no question of what religion you are following, or what you like, what you don't like. It is not there is no question of that. So automatically we have to face the reaction. So that is that. Now that's how the soul is coming. So through the rain, through the grain, then in the purport 8.3 you can refer. It's clearly Prabhupada is explaining. And then the discharge into semen. That's why when the right moment, means when the soul actually is ready, is karma, that particular male and female's karma is matching. They have certain balance, certain pious, impious. It is exactly matching. That's when the soul enters, go through this process, and soul enters into their life. Because it doesn't happen just randomly. It happens exactly, because that's why it is happening under the divine supervision. It's not happening some randomly or somebody is deciding it. It is under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Though during the pregnancy, the first 5 days, the ovum and semen gets mixed. Then fifth day, first day it gets mixed, and the fifth day it forms a bubble like a pea, pea initially. Then by tenth day it becomes a plum. It becomes a plum size, and that means a little bigger. Then the plum gradually after 10th day it transforms into a flesh, and that is flesh for animals and human being. For the what is it? For birds, it is an egg. That's another aspect Shastra is giving. Prabhupada is explaining. There are four. There are in the same context. Prabhupada is explaining. There are four category of species of life. Four category of taking birth. One is the andaja, that means through egg, that we see naturally, especially birds, various types of birds. They are born through eggs. They hatch the eggs and whatnot, and then birds. Same way, then svedaja, perspiration, and we see that the bugs, especially the insects, it is coming through the perspiration. So that's how they are generated. They don't have soul, or they then you can create, but nobody could create, not even ant, not even a small insect, because there is a soul, and they cannot generate. Nobody can generate it, because it's all happening under the divine intervention. These are all souls, spirit souls. They're all there in the spiritual world originally, and they are right now want to enjoy them. Based on the reaction, they are getting certain type of body. So anyway, coming back to this andaja, svedaja, perspiration by eggs, by perspiration, then jarayuja, embryo. That's what human beings, especially, we are going through this pregnancy and then embryo. Then that's how we are getting out of the mother's womb after the 9th month. We will come to that cycle. What happens after the 10th day, first month, second month? We will come to that. Then andaja, svedaja, jarayuja, then udbija. Udbija means seed. So these are trees, plants, creepers. All those are falls in this. These are the four categories. The 8.4 million species are there, from aquatics to insects to birds to reptiles to snakes, reptiles, different types of bird, different types of animals, and then bees, and then human beings. These are the 9 types, 9 different forms of living entity, and then each one has a certain number, certain variations within the, like birds. The crow and the swan is two different things. Same way eagles, so many types of birds. So that's why each one has a certain number. How many types of species within that category of birds? Same way in human being, there are 400,000 human beings. Different category, like those who are in heavenly planet, those Vidyadharas, Charanas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, like that. There are 400,000. We don't need to count. Shastra is clearly laying out those details in Padma Puran, and Srimad Bhagavatam also giving that. So Jalaja Navalakshan, Savarana Lakshan, that is the verse, Padma Puran, you can refer it. So these are the four category of, that's how when these four different ways, as just like I said, the semen discharged and then soul is passing through in these ways, entering, and then so for human beings specifically, we are talking about in the 10th day, it is getting into fifth day is pea, and the 10th day became a bubble, and then after 10th day gradually it turns into a flesh. For birds, it forms like an egg, and then the flesh gradually first month, after 1 month it forms a head. First 1 month, always the soul has a consciousness, but it is not in a very much active state. It means we cannot perceive it, because there is a 3 states: awakening stage, sushupti, deep sleep, and then dreaming state. Dreaming, just like when we sleep, death is also, Prabhupada explains, just like when we are sleeping, is the body there? Yes, it is there. On what platform we are operating? That's why there is a gross body, there is a subtle body, and that's why there's a bodily, gross body, there's a mental gross platform, gross bodily platform, mental platform, that means mind, intellectual platform, intelligence. Then you have a spiritual platform, that is completely pure spiritual body, the soul. So same way now here, so we are seeing that first month the head is formed, consciousness is there. Because the soul, characteristic of soul means consciousness. It's not that suddenly consciousness is appearing after a few months. No, that is awakening. That means there is a movement in that baby. But initially it is not, because still things are getting formed. The whole body is not there one by one. But the consciousness is there. Without consciousness, like you see, if there is no, as soon as the person leaves, the living entity, the soul leaves the body, what happens? No growing of nails, no life force, first of all, no breathing, no growing of nails, no growing of hair, nothing, not a single activity happens, because soul is gone. That's why nothing happens. Same way in the birth also, in the pregnant, if it transferred from pea to plum to flesh, and then first month the head is formed, then how is it formed? If there is no consciousness, if there is no soul, then how is it formed? The soul means consciousness. It is consciousness is always there, but in a sleeping stage. So the first month is head is formed. Then the next month the hands, legs, these are formed. Hands and legs. This is in the birth stage. In the death stage also, after death also, there is a certain type of body, and there is certain method, a certain days how it is formed. That also will come to that. We are just discussing the birth aspect of it. So the second, first month head is formed. Second month head, the neck, hands, legs, feet, these things are formed. And the third month neck is formed. And then the fourth month is seven ingredient. I think fourth month seven type of third month is nails, fingers, toes, bodily hair, bones, skin, generative organs, eyes, nostrils, ears, mouth, and evacuation. So in this is the third month, and the fourth month is happening. Fourth month is the seven layers, seven different. That is child, blood, mucus, flesh, fat, semen, bone marrow. This is happening. So one by one, step by step, the body is formed. Various elements are getting formed one by one. So this is what is happening. And when it comes to the fifth month, that's when actually this living entity will have a hunger and thirst. Until that, there is no hunger and thirst. That means there should be a throat. There should be that system to feel hungry and thirsty. And that is also in the time of death. One type of body we get. So there also the same similar concept is there. So we will come to that. And then next is sixth month. At the end of sixth month, there will be movement, because now he has hunger and thirst, and then he is surrounded with the amniotic fluid, and there are germs at the, just like the living entity, the soul is there at the same time. Because of the amniotic fluid, there are insects, there are worms, they're biting. So especially in the sixth month, then he starts moving. If it is a male child, he will move on the right side. If it is a female child, she will move on the left side. So that's why then, mother will think, my baby is moving. Then there also it is explained, Bhagavatam is explaining. He is in so much miserable condition, he is crying and feeling so much pain, intense pain, because the worm, these bugs, whatever is there, insects, they are biting, and the head is downwards, and the feet, the legs are like this, so like a bow. It is bounded like a bow. Bow not straight, bow is bound. It's bend. So how much it is? Very much. What do you call, compact? Very little space is there, and then within that he is compacted with the head down and his legs up, and he is like a bent form. And so you can imagine. And then things are biting. The other living entities are biting him, and then imagine what is the condition. And then that's why there it is mentioned, if somebody, we shouldn't eat too much salty, too much chili, too much spicy, too much pungent. If we do so, then it affects, he will feel even more pain, because that is a passionate. So if we don't take sattva, mode of sattva food, then definitely we get affected naturally. Then the same thing is happening, even more suffering, more intense. If they are pious, little bit pious credits are there, then they will pray to the Lord, oh please take me out from this suffering, I will not commit this again. If they are not, they are perform sinful activities too much, then they will not even think of Krishna. They will just simply suffer. They will cry. They will, they cannot do anything. So this is in the sixth month. Okay, seventh month is when actually the consciousness is getting awakened. Consciousness is now coming into picture. That's when more activity, pushing, pulling, legs. That's why you see the mother is getting all this. So she's very happy seeing the kicks of the baby, the male or female depending on. So that is what is happening. So that is the development of consciousness in this way at the time of birth. Now coming back to then what happens at the time of death. What is happening is the gross body is there, subtle body is there. So it is explained in the especially we'll come to the first. Let's understand when it is in a pure form. Let's say somebody who has performed spiritual activities and perfected their life all the way to Krishna prema, not just Tada Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Tata Bhajana Kriya, initiation, and Anartha Nivurti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava. Then he came to almost Krishna prema stage, pure. Then what will happen is at the time of death, change of body, then he attains spiritual body. What happens? Spiritual body means there is no gross body, there is no subtle body, and whatever there is no mind, intelligence, all there is no subtle body, no gross body, completely spiritual. One body, he has eyes, he has just like us, but completely spiritual. He can remember things, he has intellectual capacity, everything is there, but he doesn't. Only in the material world, this is explained in Canto 3, Sankhya Yoga. Kapila Muni is explaining in specific, and then the purport Prabhupada is explaining, where it is mentioned in this verse, Mad Bhakta what is it? Prati Buddhardo Mat Prasadena Bhuyasha. Because my devotee is my devotee, Mad Bhakta, because he is my devotee, and Prati Buddhardo, because he is self realized, and because then I am giving my mercy, Mat Prasadena Bhuyasa, because I am giving my mercy by that Yat Lingad Vinigrame. So then automatically whatever linga, whatever the form, the gross body and the subtle body, you will give up. Automatically it will be destroyed, and then you will attain completely spiritual body. There is no gross, there is no subtle in that aspect. So it is almost like a large body. Large body is always Satchidananda, and it is no gross, no subtle. It is completely spiritual. Same way we also, but we are Anu, we are small, and he is the greatest. He is the Vibhu. He can create so many things. We can only create, even when we are in the pure state. Also, we can create only small things, but the quality is same, quantity is different. So this is the first aspect we have to understand. Then we have to also understand where it is mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We see that Krishna is explaining after telling Yesham Antagatam Papam Jananam Punya Karmanam. Only somebody who has performed, has some Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, they can only come to Krishna consciousness, like worshipping Tulsi Maharani, understanding what is the goal of worshipping Tulsi Maharani. Then only they can enter into the Krishna consciousness process. Otherwise, they cannot enter. But they need to have this, especially not karma unmukha sukriti, not bhoga unmukha sukriti, not even moksha unmukha sukriti, but rather they have to have a bhakti unmukha sukriti by their spiritual master, by the devotees association, by chanting or by prasadam, by Tulsi Maharani's association, whatever way. We don't even know, that's why it is called Ajnata Sukriti. Then they will enter. But then they will get liberated. Those who are, then they follow the process, then they get liberated. Jara Marana Mokshaya. Mam Asritya Yatante. When the living entity takes shelter of me and my representative, Mam Asritya Yatante, Te Brahma Tadvidu Krishna Adhyatman Karma Chatam. Then automatically we attain me. Not by karma, not by gnana, not by yoga, not by Astanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga. In the purely Bhakti Yoga, he can enter into the Vaikuntha, he can attain one of the forms, either in, the Vaikunteswara, Kapildev, Narsingadev, Vamandev, like this, innumerable forms. They are all in the rest of the Vaikuntha. The highest planet is Golok Vrindavan. One who is worshipping the Lord, worshipping Lord Krishna, you will enter into Golok Vrindavan, highest. If he is worshipping Lord Ramachandra, he has specific rasa with Lord, then we will enter Ayodhya Dham. So like that, there are many planets in the spiritual world. So maybe let me share now so that we can talk from there, so that you understand better, because we are going to talk about death also now. Entire screen or window, let me see. Yeah, not window. Hare Krishna, mute your lines. Damn, I have to do that. No, window, maybe. I think I have to. Yeah, now I think I should be able to share. Yeah, okay. Okay, you can see the screen. So here you see the universe, what's happening. We are in this middle where there's a earth globe, there's a green line, it is shown. There is a 7 planetary systems all the way the top. Brahma is sitting where my mouse is there. You can see, you are able to see the screen. Can someone confirm? Hare Krishna, those who are on the Google Meet, unmute and confirm that you are able to see the screen. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can see the screen.
Okay, so the top, yeah, the topmost planet is Satya Loka, where Brahma is residing. Then you see Tapaloka. Then you see Janaloka, where 7 sages are there. Then your Maharloka. The Tapaloka is also the 4 Kumaras, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara. 4 Kumaras are there in that. The Janaloka is 7 sages, Maharloka, same way. Then your Swargaloka, heavenly planet, demigods are there. And then you have Bhuvarloka. Bhuvarloka is Bhutas, Pretas. Those are ghostly form. Those attained subtle body, they are in this planet. And then Bhuloka, we are in the middle planet. In between this Bhuloka and Bhuvarloka, there is Antariksha, the outer space. It is not exactly like horizontal, they have to show. It is like a more of a 3 dimension. In between this space, the sun, moon, at a different, so much distance is there. In the picture, we cannot show it, but it is there. There is a outer space. That's what Antariksha. That's where all these, the sun, moon, Pluto, and whatnot, all those are there. Rahu. So then we are in the middle planet. It is mentioned subtle and gross. Where you go to the higher planet, there is only subtle body. There is no gross body, because that is what more pious state means. You will get a more and more nicer body. More impious state means more and more suffering body, which has to go through more sufferings. So here the Bhuloka, we are in the subtle and gross body, both we have. But when it is in pure state, you will cross over. The soul goes through all these planets, goes through even the 7 layers. It is a little bit faint: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then you have mind, you have intelligence, false ego. These are the layers, and it crosses. Then it enters into Viraja river, and then it enters into Vaikunta. So that is the Brahma Jyoti outside the 7 layer. Then there is a spiritual world. This material world is only 1/4, the actual 3/4. That's what is happening. So we're discussing about this. Yeah. So that at the time of when somebody is pure, by then automatically they give up the gross body, they give up the subtle body, because then there is here and the top all the way there is a planet called Sisumara planet. There is a fiery planet, Sisumara planet. There, any tinges, anything, impurity, everything, whatever is there, everything gets burned down. And then he will cross over all these 7 layers, then crossing this Viraja river, Brahma Jyoti, and then enter into spiritual world. No more gross body, no more subtle body, only spiritual body exists at the time. Now, so another point, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking from in the chapter, especially Makara Sankranti is coming up, sun is entering into Uttarayana. So very, very auspicious. Bhishma Deva left his body by Icha Mrityu at the specific auspicious time of Uttarayana Makara Sankranti day. So the Krishna is speaking, the living entity when he passes, then he will, if he passes during the Uttarayana, he will be able to liberate himself. If he passes during the Dakshinayana, then he may have to come back. Then if he passes away during the light, during the daytime, then he can be liberated. But if he passes during the darkness, night time, then he has to come back. So there are 4 verses. Jyotis Sukla, Aha Sukla, Sanmasa Uttarayana, Agnir Jyotis, Aha Sukla, Sanmasa Uttarayana, where it is mentioned. So there are 4 verses where these details are given, what happened. But the last verse, 27th verse or 28th verse, Krishna is emphasizing. For a devotee, he is not bewildered. He is not afraid. Oh, I am going to pass away during Uttarayana or Dakshinayana or when light or dark. He is not, because he is completely taken Mad Ashraya, shelter of Supreme Lord, and Lord will take care of him. So he is not afraid of that. So that is the aspect. Now, the another aspect here that the time of death, what is happening is, as Krishna is mentioning in the 8th chapter, whatever the living entity thinks at the time of death, based on his practice whole life, then automatically he will think, depending on his attachments and how much he practiced, accordingly he will think those things. You cannot think suddenly Krishna, you cannot think something spiritual if he hasn't done the practice, proper practice at the time of death. Anta kalecha mamev smaran muktva kalevaram. Krishna is mentioning. And then Krishna is mentioning, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejati ante kalevaram. Whatever the living entity thinks at the time of death, leaving this body, then he will attain that specific body. That is there. But now that these we already know. Now what is happening at the time of death? So those who are not pure, this verse 2.40 Krishna is mentioning, they will get, at least those who are performing Krishna consciousness 1%, 0.5, 2%, 3%, whatever, they will get at least human birth. They will not see Yamaraj. In 6.6th canto, where Ajamila story last week we explained, in that it's clearly laid out. Ajamila performed hundreds of sinful activities, so many, cheating, killing, everything he has done, you can name it. But before he has performed pious credits, Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti, worshipped Narayan Shila, he assisted his father, and even previous life also he was a mendicant. So all these things are because of his Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti, certain percentage, he was not pure. But then he was agitated, and then because of that previous pastime also we discussed. So that's why, but there it is mentioned clearly that that he will attain. He will attain. In this case, there it is mentioned, Yamadutas cannot take the soul. Yamadutas cannot even touch. So they tried to touch. They came. Because he has performed sinful activity, the body, mind, soul, three things. Then three kinds of these Yamadutas came. Three people came with the ghastly forms. He has all the weapons and ropes. They are trying to take away this Ajamil. But then Vishnu Dutas right away appeared because he has called out to his son Narayana, and immediately he remembered Narayana because of his past credits. Then Vishnu Dutas came. Then they couldn't take. There was argument. You don't know dharma. That's why you are trying to take. This is adharma. So then there was so much conversation. But just giving that understanding that, so at least they will get a human birth, and we are discussed that Suchanam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashta Abhijayate. At least they will be born in a Vaisya family or Brahmana family. All these credits are already there. You don't need to look for job. You don't need to look for things. You're not very poor. Where then, because if there is no actual survive, if we are trying to survive ourselves, even basic necessities are not there, then how the living entity is going to think of process of transcendence? You cannot think, because basic necessities itself is not met. So that's why the living entity they get, because of Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti he has performed, you will get a human birth, but he will be born in that pious credit family, so that he doesn't need to look for basic things. He already has, then he will just continue where he left off and perfect his life. So that is the point. But now the main point at the time of death, these Amaraj, those who are, now I am talking about those who are not performing Krishna conscious activity, what happens to them? Then these Amaraj, Yamabhatas, they come with all ghastly forms. It is mentioned 10,000 scorpion bite at the time of death. So the gross body right now is there, subtle body is there. Now, as soon as the time has come, body is changing. What kind of body we are going to get? We are going to get a body just like a subtle body, but it is not. The subtle body will be there, gross body will be gone, gross body will be finished. The subtle body is the one which has been taken along with it is also mentioned that in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad will not find, but its understanding is mentioned in other places. There is a causal body, just like when we, at the time of end of day of Brahma, what's happening, there is a annihilation. So living entities be in the abdomen of Mahavishnu with a causal body, Karana body, because it's like it is that is a what you call encaged, certain type of body we will get, and then as soon as minute we come out again we take up the gross and subtle, because it's not need is in the abdomen. It is causal body, and this is more in the those who are following Patanjali and Vedanta, they know more. But in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, exact word is not used, causal body. More we know gross body, subtle body, and spiritual body, soul. But this is one about this is minor. It is not so much. We don't need to go in detail. But here, at the time of death, what is happening is he will attain the body. Is its name is it is mentioned as yatana. The body type is called yatana. In that body, what is it's almost like subtle only. It is not gross. But the what happens with that yatana body is that yatana body also immediately not given. After death, soul passes away from this 11 days, or actually, yeah, 13 days. 13 days, the living entity, the soul is still there only, is surrounding around that area, especially those who are not Krishna conscious. You have to remember this always. Those who are not performed Krishna conscious activities, then this happens. If they are performed Krishna, you will enter into another womb. You will just like he has gone through, he has taken birth through a mother and father. Same way, will again enter into certain family in a certain planetary system, depending on how much Krishna consciousness he has performed. Then accordingly, he will be born in a certain family, and then he will continue where he left. But one who is not performed, then is getting the yatana body after 13th day. And then the same process is there. So but before that, before in order to get that even yatana body also, then he has to be supplied of the this what do you call ceremony, the process, or they call something Shraddha ceremony, you can say, but there is another name in Sanskrit. This process of 13 days, every day there is a Pinda Pradhan. The four types of four rice balls are offered, and those four rice balls are two portions of it goes to these subtle elements. This yatana body also consists, just like the gross body right now, it consists air, water, fire, air, ether. These five elements are even there in the yatana body also. But the yatana body, what happens is, however, like if somebody is giving the pain, it will be more 100 times, 10,000 times, so much even excruciating pain we get. And then, but at the same time, we will not die, because the living entity has to get the reaction because of his sinful activity. He has to get the reaction. That's why this type of body, there is a one type of body is been given, and that name is yatana. Just like we are getting this gross and subtle body in a earthly planet, but in this specific case, at the time of death, we are getting this yatana body after 13th day. Okay, so the first, so the because in order for that to happen, this his son has to offer this pinda pradhan 13 days. One each day, every day there are four pindas, four rice balls has to happen offered. Two portions of it, two rice balls are being gone to this enrichment of this air, water, fire, these gross elements. These five elements that body needs for that, and then one portion is consumed by these yama bhattas for their offering, and then the one portion is consumed by this living entity. It's just getting accumulated. Okay, because he doesn't have actually hunger and thirst. That hunger and thirst, just like in the at the time of birth, what time I said, 5 months. In the during the pregnancy, at the fifth month only, he developed hunger and thirst. Until that point, even though mother is eating, but he's not getting taste, he's not hungry, he's not eating at the time, because that consciousness is not fully developed. The body, the functions of the system is not developed yet. Only in the fifth month. Same way here also, at the time of death, this yatana body is still not fully formed. The first month, the first day, when the rice balls are offered, two portions are going, third portion is going to that yama bhattas, fourth portion is going to this person. Then because of that portion of offering, the son has to do it. If the son is not there, then the wife can do it. If the wife is not there, then is there that father's brothers or others, even somebody else, even anybody else can do. But it goes through sequence. If this person is not there, then the next, then next. If nobody else is there, then other like friends or other people also can do it. But that is what. But if son or a wife or their elder brother or somebody is there in the family, then outside people shouldn't do it. There is a certain process in Garuda Puran. These details are given. So the yatana body, first day, when these four rice balls are offered, then he's getting the form head. Head is getting formed in the yatana body. Just like at the time of birth, we are getting certain type of body, and first month we are forming the head is getting formed. Same way, at the time of death, after death, the yatana body is getting first day of offering, because of offering. If there is no offering, then you will have to suffer even more. That's why 13 days the soul is surrounding in that area. Soul is still there circling, and also these yamapatas are there, and it's very, at the time of death, because of sinful act, is excruciating pain he has to suffer so much. This fire and all this, so much intensity will be there, he cannot tolerate it. Then he will be like unconscious. That's what. Then he will attain this body. These yamapatas are right there with all their weapons and the ropes with his ghastly form, waiting till 13th day. If there are no offering, then he will have to suffer even more. He may attain this ghostly or pisacha's body, and then more suffering. That's even more dangerous. That's why it is mentioned Shraddha ceremony must be performed. That's why sun is to be there. Sun must be there. That's why there is a Ekadasi coming up in this month, in the second, I think January 17th or 24th. I think 24th. Putrada Ekadasi. So that is actually one who delivers. Putra means one who delivers his father, forefathers, even great forefathers. Punnama Naraka Trayate iti Putra. That is the actual meaning of son. That's why people want to have a son, because he is supposed to do this activity, Shraddha ceremony. That then he can deliver. And with the first day, he is getting this portion because of rice ball offering. Head is getting formed, and the second day, he is getting the neck and shoulders, and the third day is getting the heart, and fourth day is getting the back, backbone, and all those things, and fifth day is getting the navel, and sixth day is getting the hips and secret parts, and in the seventh day he is getting the thighs, and the eighth day is getting the knees and the feet. Eighth and ninth, and the eighth is knees, and ninth day is getting the feet, and in the 10th day, then that's when actually he is developing the hunger and thirst. At the time of the birth, he is developing hunger and thirst in the 5th month, but at the time after death, he is getting this hunger and thirst. What day? 10th day. Until 10 days, they have to offer these rice and rice balls, 4 balls. That living entity in this particular soul is getting the actual portion, his portion. If it is not offered, then it's a problem. Then, because hunger and thirst develop, now then he starts eating. Then the 11th and 12th, then he starts eating, because he is hungry and thirsty has developed. Then 13th day, then he is departed. 13th day, that's why there is what do you call, Shraddha only, but major Shraddha, I forget the names now. 13th day is very important day. Also, then Shastra is explaining, for Brahmanas there is a certain restriction, like I think 3 days. For Kshatriyas, 7 days or 11 days. For Vaishyas, more days. And for Sudras, 30 days. If somebody passes away, or father, mother, close members pass away, especially immediate family members, then they are not supposed to perform, especially the worship of the deity, entering into the temple, those kind of activities, spiritual activities, for these many days. The main idea is, because how much, if Brahmana means, if he is operating on the Brahmana platform, then he will not be so much attached. And also it is mentioned here in Garuda Puran, we are not supposed to cry. If they cry, then even the soul, he has to even face even more suffering for the living entity. So we are not supposed to cry actually. So that is also mentioned. So more suffering for this Yatana body. So in this way, 13th day, then he is been bounded by the ropes. There's a picture, I think it is there in the other one, bigger picture. Then he will be taken, the Yatana, but the planet, what planet it is, just like we are entering into, when we are taking birth, we are entered into Bhuloka. So there is a hellish planet. There are 28 types of hell. In some Shastra it is mentioned 21, but in Garuda Puran it is also mentioned almost major categories, okay, almost many thousands of hells it is mentioned. But the categories, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto, last chapter, is the talking about 26 types of hell. Tamishra, and the Tamishra, Raurava, Maharaurava, like that. Kumbhapika. So those are the 26 types of hell. So then they are taken where that hell is. If you see the picture, Mahavishnu is lying down, Garbhodaka side, because this is Garbhodaka ocean. Okay, Karana, the Sai Vishnu is outside. This is Garbho, this universe is there, Garbhodaka ocean. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is written. So he is lying from his navel, this green portion, this is a planetary system, this 14 planetary. At the top, this is the lotus stem. And then on the top of the lotus, Brahma is born. Now coming, we are in the middle section of that lotus stem. And then there are 6 planetary systems. This is the 7th planetary system is Bhuloka. Then 6 planets system is there in the bottom below the earthly planet, which is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patal. Below this Patal and above Garbhodaka ocean, all the below all the planetary system, there is a ocean called Garbhodaka ocean. That's where this Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is lying down in his reclining position on Ananta Sesha. So that is between that Garbhodaka ocean and below the Patal, there is a planet, what is called hellish planet or hellish planet, and then there is also planet called Pitri planet, forefathers. So as Krishna is mentioning in Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Devratan Devan, Pitrun Yanti Pitruvatan, Yanti Madhyajinotma. One who is worshipping me, he will come to me in spiritual world. One who is worshipping demigods, he will go to heavenly planet. One who is worshipping Pitri forefather, then he will go to Pitri planet. Who is the in charge of the forefathers? Yamaraj, Aryama, Yamaraj. Yamaraj is the Yamaraj stays. His abode is there. That is the hellish planet and also Pitri planet. Both are in between this Patal and Garbhodaka ocean. I forgot to tell. The distance as the at the time of death, once he attains on the 13th day, because of the feeding these 4 rice balls every day until 13th day, then the Yatana body is formed. Then he's been bound up by ropes and he's been punished with their trishul and with their weapons and hitting and with their whatever you call, like Haridas Thakur is hit by the 21 marketplaces, whatever I forget the weapon used. So all those things, so many type of pain is been, and how long it is? It is mentioned 86,000 yojanas so far to come all the way from earthly planet to this planet, which is all the way below. It is 86,000 yojanas. How long it will take? It takes one day, every day he can walk 247 yojanas. 247 yojanas. Then how long it will? It will take 1 year. 1 year time to come to finish, to come to Pitri planet. Not Pitri planet, sorry, hellish planet. Both are very close. Pitri planet and Pitri planet is where these forefathers are there. Yamaraj is the one in charge. Yamaraj is staying there. But just like police constables or the superintendent of police, the prison house managers, where they will stay? Will they stay in the prison house and sleep and eat everything there? No. They have their own home. But to manage, yes, they come and oversee things, what's happening in the prison. Same way, Yamaraj has his own abode. It is called Pitri planet, Aryama, and then all other forefathers, whoever is attached, whoever is meditating on that specific aspect, then they also go to that planet. And then there is the hellish planet, which is very next to it. It is in this picture. It is mentioned both at the layer of Patal, but it is actually in between Patal and Garbhodaka ocean. And then we also see that it is if you go in Srimad Bhagavatam, in this section structure of the universe, 5th canto, it is explained each is who resides in each of these planetary systems. Even Lord Shiva is there in Vitala also, and then because of him there is a one type of gold produced. Then in Atala also there are 3 types of women are there. There's too much enjoyment, gross body. It's much more, but it is more sinful, more suffering enjoyment. Not not like heavenly planet, not like a earthly planet. It's more. It's going to cause even greater pain and much more longer. And path, and then we know that Bali Maharaj is there in Sutala with Lord is staying as his guardian outside doorman. So that is there in Sutala. But Patal is the lowest planet. In each planet, Patal is where the Vasuki is there. 1,000 hooded or 10,000 hooded. Vasuki is there. In all these other places also, there are different types of snake, different types of living entities are there. Explained. I don't remember all these, but it is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the below the Patal and above the Garbhodaka ocean, this Pitri planet is there, and next to it is hellish planet. Hellish planet only The Yamabhatas are putting them, these conditioned soul, with that Yatana body after a whole year. And it is mentioned that there are almost, I think, 16 cities, all the way from Saumya to Bahubhiti. Bahubhiti means, Bhiti means fear. Bahu means too much fear. In names itself, there is a essence of the names. There is a lot more detail in Garuda Puran. I am only giving a glimpse of what is happening, what type of body we are getting, and what exactly happens at the time of, because many times we have this doubt at the time of death. We think that immediately he will enter into another womb. No, that's not the case. If they haven't performed Krishna conscious activities, then they have to go through this process. They have to attain yatana body. It is almost like our subtle body right now, mind in false ego, but subtle body is also there, because subtle body is the one which is carrying what kind of work he has done. Mind in the false ego is there along with that, because they engaged in right now, like in the current body what we have, gross body is there, and within it subtle body is there, and then the soul is residing within the heart, and super soul is also there watching within the heart. But here at the time of death, what we, instead of gross body, we are getting a atana body. Same elements are there, 5 elements. But this gross body, at least you get pain, but to some extent only. But this yatana body, it's going to be almost 1,000, 10,000 times more pain. But then if body is given that much pain, our current body, it will not sustain. We will die. But this yatana body, however pain you give, so much, so many things, we will discuss a little more, then still he will sustain. He will not die, because that is the type of body. Because of his sinful activity, he has to face. There is no other way about it. There is no, even if you cry and whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Because the reaction only that particular living entity only has to face. So that is what is happening. So 247 yojanas every day, and every day is being beaten, is being pushed with these sharp shaped these things, weapons, and beaten, and these snakes and whatnot. So much heat, hot sun, and you will not be given. And then after this 1 year going through 16 cities, different kinds of, and then he has to cross, before coming to this hellish planet, he has to cross a Vaitarani river. What does it have? It is not like the 7 oceans, salt ocean, liquor ocean, honey ocean, ghee ocean, yogurt ocean. No, that is only in the material. That also we are only seeing salt ocean. There, this Vaitarani river is made up of blood, mucus, flesh, all these, so much like unimaginable. And what are the, who are there in that? All kinds of snakes, ferocious, and always killing, and eating away the flesh, and eating and whatnot. So much so much suffering, so much tribulations is giving to Yatran. He has to cross over that. These Yamabhatas are protected. Yamabhatas are not going through this suffering. Yamabhatas are only giving pain because of his sinful activity. They are carrying him with the ropes, binding with the ropes, and then taking him and through all these ways throughout the whole year, 1 year, and then he has to cross over this Vaitarani river. Even there also it is intense suffering. Then he is entering. This is even just a beginning. It is not even actual real hell. 26 types of hell is not even there at. Imagine, you can imagine. See, that's why this knowledge is very important. Ignorance, people think that, oh, no, I don't need this knowledge. Ignorance is bliss. No, whether you believe it or not, as soon as you put your finger in fire, it is going to burn. Same way, your tax department, your water department, and nobody will listen that, oh, I don't know, I need to pay this bill. No, whether you know it or not, if you don't pay, they will wait 20 days, 30 days, warning, one warning. After that, it will be removed, and then you will be fined, you will be put in prison also. Same rules. It is even more stringent. Material world, you can hide things, you can cheat people, all kinds of things. But in the under the divine intervention, karmana daiva netrena, then there is no escape. 1 year, and then Vaitarani river, the suffering, and then the Yamaraj looks at Chitragupta. He reads. There are different types of assistants. It is mentioned. I don't remember all this. I read a little bit, but I am not able to remember all these details. But at least we get the gist of it. In Garuda Puran, I have the book in Telugu. So you can get the gist of it. Then Yamaraj is looking at the things, then is reading, this is what he has done. Then Yamaraj sanctions, okay, for these certain, these are the activities, then he has to go into this hell, this hell, this hell, and this is the activity. How long? Then Just like if somebody has performed like he is constantly is meditating as thinking he wants to eat flesh, then he will attain like he is drinking the blood of animal and all, then he will attain a tiger body, a lion body, because that's what he has done and that's what he remembers. Then he will get that body. So before getting that particular body in the next life, then he will be put in these type of hell. Then he will be putting into intense suffering, the hot liquid. You'll be thrown into the hot liquid and hot sun, and the snakes are biting and whatnot. This picture is there in the other, not this one. Let me see if I have that, so that you can understand how much intense suffering it is. Let me open that so that at least you get to. I think it is not there in this also. This is another picture. This is another picture, similar picture. But yeah, there here it is mentioned Narakaloka. See, Patal, and then Narakaloka is mentioned a little bit down above the Garbhodaka ocean. Narakaloka, 28 hells, and then it is mentioned. See, Lord Brahma resides, Tapaloka, 4 Kumaras reside, then Janaloka, Prajapatis reside, Maharloka, Bhrugu, and Bhrugu Muni and Prajapatis reside. Then you have Swargaloka, demigods reside. In Bhuvarloka, you have ghostly spirits reside. And then Bhuloka, obviously, we all are here. And then Atala is where demons live, son of Maya, Maya Danava. Then also you have Vitala, Lord Shiva, along with I think Parvati Devi. Certain type of demons are there. And then you have Sutala Balimara, I mentioned. And then you have Talatala, demon Maya and Danava, Maya Danava, demon. And then a few others, just main personalities mentioned. And then the Maharloka mentioned, not Maharloka, yeah, Mahatala, not Maharloka, Mahatala. Then Nagas live, and then Rasatala. It is mentioned, what is it? Some other ones. I'm not able to even read. Then Patal is Vasuki is there. So in this way, each planet have certain type of living entities. So in this way, that the using this yatana body, the living entity is being taken with the subtle body, mind into the false ego. He remembers during this time, and also it is mentioned he remembers all his. He is crying. He is crying. Oh, my son, my wife, my whoever friends. Especially he remembers his own family members. Please offer this. He's thinking about them and crying them. I didn't do this. I should have done this pious credit. I shouldn't have done this. He's thinking, moralizing, but nothing much you can do at this time because it's already late. That has to happen before we finish our this pastime on this earthly planet. So if time is up, then it's too late at that time. So that's why suffering. And then the Yamaraj is giving, and then we are entering into Tamishra or Andha Tamishra, Kumbhapika. Each of them has a specific type of, for a certain type of activity, certain type of hellish planet, and then depending on period also is given, 3 months, 6 months, or a year, how long. And also that specific body, like a tiger body, tree, or an animal, certain type of animal, any type of species, bug or insect, according to pig, then they will put through in such a condition. Naturally, when he takes, then he is already accustomed to take up. Then when his time is over in this yatana body, then again he will be given the same process. Then he will be given, and he will come to that same, just like the same form he was, like he has come from the human form. Certain things were there. Then accordingly he will come to the again, start from there. He will enter to that specific body again. Then he has to continue in this way. So that's what is happening at the time of. It's not that immediately it takes 13 days, and the people have to offer their own family members, and then after 13 days, 1 year to come to the hellish planet, Naraka, and then he has to suffer certain period, whether it's we don't know how long, depending on how much he has performed. Then he will get the next body in one of these planetary systems. and then he has to again suffer, but different kind. It is better than the hellish planet, but still it is a material world. Anywhere you go, either from Brahma to all the way to lower, still there is suffering, but the degree of suffering is different and degree of enjoyment is different. So that is the only thing. So then I want to discuss about the what is it? Not Uttanapada, Priyavratas, but we'll discuss. I think time is up already, 23. So, any questions? Let's take questions because it's a interesting and intriguing topic. I'm sure you may have questions. Any questions you have? On the Google Meet, you can unmute yourself and ask, then we'll come to the those who are dialed in on the phone. If they have any question. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
You were saying like the first 13 days after the soul departs, we have to like offer, like I did not get it very clear. If you can just explain that part. What we should offer every day from.
There's four rice balls. It is called Pinda Pradhan, part of the Shraddha ceremony. Generally, the priest knows. Part of that, they offer this Pinda to Lord Vishnu. Like just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya and did his funeral rites and Shraddha ceremony. Part of that is Pinda Pradhan is offered. That Pinda means nothing but the same, the rice ball, rice and then barley flour and honey and a few other things. Those details are mentioned. 5 or 6 elements is combined and made into like a ball, and then that is being offered. So every day four balls minimum every day for 13 days it has to be offered. Generally the priest will do, but the big it is called Pedda Karma in Telugu. I don't know in English. That means I don't know. I'm not able to remember the English word. That is at the 13th day, and the Chinna Karma is there. I think third day or 7th or 11th day or some other day they do in between, and the 13th day is a big day because that's when actually he is leaving from his place, like in a particular location, particular city, in a particular family. The soul is still surrounded there. So and then 13th day after he is getting this body, full yatana body, then he is departing. Then the Yamabhatas are taking, burning with ropes and taking him. Until that point the soul is running here and there only. So still that's why, and there it is mentioned more the intensity, the attachment, and the more the people cry, then he has to suffer even more for that, because of that. So that's why we shouldn't cry, but most of the people don't know, and too much attachment is there, obviously nothing much we can do. So that's why this chanting of the holy name and kirtan and various things are performed to alleviate this pain and suffering. So that's why feeding Vaishnavas, performing, offering gifts to Brahmanas, giving charity to cows, charity of Tulsi Maharani, or worshipping Tulsi Maharani. So all these activities, one other than this Shraddha ceremony, one who performs, then automatically they will attain. They will be come out of the sinful activity very quickly, and they will attain. Even the forefathers, even those who are suffering in the hellish planet, then they will also attain immediately. That's why they constantly pray, oh my son, oh my father, oh my all his family members. He is calling out, going through the suffering, intense suffering, and then he's calling out, please take me out, take me out. But they cannot help because they need to perform these pious credits as per Bhakti Unmukha Sukruti. Then he'll be able to get back from that suffering, and then come to again the human body, or whatever body is not human body. He has to get the particular species of life depending on his actions. So if he has performed, they have given the offered the good credit, then he may get a human birth. So that's what it is. So 13 days, and every day they have to offer the 4 pendas, 4 rice balls mixed with this barley flour and honey and few other things. So
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I heard like when a soul is like very sinful, like Prabhupada was saying like that's until the next destination of the soul is decided, that soul will not be taken out of the body. And for a sinful soul, they will go in coma because they're supposed to go, but the destination is not yet fixed. So
yeah,
that's
that's
how the
why.
state is.
Yeah, that's why. If he is sinful, So everything is so, karma is so intricate, such that I'll give you a small examples we don't realize many times. Like we buy a rice bag or we buy certain grocery, certain things. In that also, how much we utilize, how much gets wasted. Not a single thing is like by chance. There is no by chance. Everything like is, sometimes these grains fall down, some other animal eat, some other birds eat, so many things, so much intricate. Karma is so intricate. That's why if the soul is so sinful, then he may not even have a son. They may not even perform this Pinda Pradhan. Then he will not even get his Yatana body is not even formed yet. Then he may have to get a ghastly form, the ghostly form, Pretas or Pisachas. Then he may have to suffer even more. Then he has to take again Yatana body, and then imagine what happens, how long. And more soul revolves even more, longer periods. So that's why these Shraddha ceremony is very much. But those who have performed Krishna conscious activities, so naturally they will get the benefits. But to set an example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has performed, Krishna has performed, and others have performed. But otherwise, Krishna is mentioning already that for those who are Krishna conscious, they are performing already, because they are worshipping the deity, they are offering to donation, charity, they are offering feeding Vaishnavas and all. Then they don't need to separately perform sacrifices to please demigods, please forefathers, please this, please that, perform this Pinda Pradhan, all this they don't need to do. But still we do, because Mahaprabhu setting the example, we also do. But may not necessarily do every year. But we do once, 13th day and maybe first year anniversary we do. But there is nothing wrong, we can do also every year, as long as we are feeding Vaishnavas, we are using it in serving Krishna. What is wrong? Anyway, we are serving every day, or when we want to serve Krishna, we want to serve devotees, we want to serve Brahmanas, we want to serve cows, Tulsi Marani. Then what is the problem? On the name of forefathers, on name of the father, if you do that, then it's spiritual activities, they are getting the benefit. So then why not do it? In that way, definitely. But otherwise, generally Shastra is also saying you don't need to do, because the spiritual credits anyway you are giving. Just like one Prahlad Maharaj, 21 generation are getting the benefit by becoming one person becoming a devotee, especially the pure devotee. So then it's that much benefit is there. 21 generation gets liberated automatically. That's why Bali Maharaj, even though born in a demon family, son of Virochana, Prahlad Maharaj's son is Virochana, Virochana's son is Bali Maharaj, but he got his consciousness. Sukracharya is instructing him not to do it, but still he said, no, I will do it, because that is what Shastra is recommending. You are telling opposite. He rejected his guru, and then he went ahead and offered everything to the Lord. See, the consciousness right away come right away, because he offered in mind, offered obeisance within the mind. As soon as he saw, he was attracted by the Lord. How did it happen, that consciousness? Because the mercy of the Prahlad Maharaj, mercy of because he was a devotee, and Prahlad Narsingadev has given the blessing. So that's why by following the acharyas, by mercy of an advanced devotee and spiritual master, then we have a better chance to become pure, better chance to grow in spiritual life, advance in spiritual life, and better chance to circumvent the difficulties, sinful activities, come out of it very quickly and easily. On our own, why the sadhana bhakti, it takes long time, because we are so attached to things, we cannot give up things, we are so comfortable in our own situation, in our own positions, we don't want to give up those things. So that is, but by the mercy of these great devotees, then everything gets shaken up. We'll be able to move up the ladder very quickly. Just like in office also, corporate world, we see that sometimes people doesn't have proper experience, but they move up the ladder very quickly, because somehow or the other they have a good relation with their boss somehow. Then they get pulled into, they promote very quickly because of that. They're also the same way. If they are associated with the advanced devotees, by their mercy, they see that this living entity has certain some at least some inclination to do service, and then they give the mercy. They are very compassionate. As Prahlad Maharaj, as Narada Muni, we see that so much compassionate even to the hunter, even to Jagai Matai, Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. So we see example. They are always ready. At least we have a little bit of spark, little bit of attraction, want to, at least some desire, some inclination is there. then Krishna can help. So our free will has to be used. Our time we have to think. Then Krishna can help. If we are not even ready, we don't even want to come. We don't want to take up. Then what Krishna can do? We cannot do. We cannot force. So yeah. Any other questions? Mataji or anybody else on the Google Meet?
Prabhuji,
Thank
I
you so
have a
much,
question.
Prabhuji. Gandharika has a question. Oh, sorry, somebody else has a question.
1 minute,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu. Sorry, I will come to the phone. 1 minute. I'm still finishing. Yes, Gandharvika, go ahead. Then Deepak Prabhu. I'll try to give short answers and then we can answer
Yeah.
via the text as well. Go ahead, Gandharvika.
Babaji, we hear that in the like the heavenly abodes, the people have subtle bodies, and in the spiritual worlds, do they have spiritual bodies or subtle bodies?
Yeah, in the verse, I think you joined a little late. You might have missed it. I explained that in the Canto 3. I think I forget what the verse. Yeah, Canto 3, chapter 27, verse number 28 to 29. Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, the last line, last paragraph. Linga, the body, the living by the Mat Prasadena, Mat Bhakti, because he is my devotee, by my mercy, because he has taken shelter Mother Ashraya, and then he will be able to give up his gross body, he will give up even subtle body, everything finished, then he will attain spiritual body. There is no subtle body in the spiritual world. So that's what has been explained in purport by Sri Prabhupada 3:27, 28-29. Two verses. So nice purport, longer purport. So you can refer to that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. We'll
I
come to.
also have another question about the
We'll come
soul.
because of the interest of time. I'll answer it. Maybe you can call me or you can text. And then I'll try to answer it because Deepak Prabhu has a question and I think Atul Prabhu also has a question. So Deepak Prabhu, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yes, Deepak
No,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Sure, go ahead. No, it's okay. We want to cover at least.
No, Prabhuji, this Ajamil, the only thought which comes is with the Ajamil story, we see that chanting Narayan because his son's name was Narayan, he was able to get the heavenly abode.
Right.
But does this story work in Kali Yuga too?
Yes. Why not? Okay, already Shastra is telling in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that, and the examples are also there. One Muslim man, he's chanting, he didn't even chant holy name directly, indirectly. Haram, haram. He's seeing the pig and he's chanting haram, haram. But then because he has uttered haram, ram word is there, then he also attained. But as long as means if the person has offensive mentality, then there may be a question. But if he is doing indirectly or if he is doing unknowingly, that's Ajamila didn't think directly Lord Narayan at that time because he has called his son. First of all, because he has pious credits before there. Lord Narayan worship, Shaligram Shala worship was done in this life and in the previous life also he was a mendicant. Somehow or the other, he cursed the girl who helped him to come out of his unconscious state, and then she also cursed back. You, because he cursed her to become a prostitute, and then she cursed, then you are going to also marry me in the next life. So then that's how, then you will become Brahmana son, and then you will marry me. That's what she cursed. So that's why in the next life, as a mendicant, he is carrying that spiritual credit in the next life. Then he went through that. Then he saw the same prostitute, attracted. Then he married her. Then performed so much sinful activities to maintain. Then the last son, because of his pious credit, then he put his son's name Narayana. Then because he chanted Narayana again and again, indirectly, not knowingly, indirectly, and because of previous pious credit and also these unknowing credits are there building up. Then at the time of death, first immediately he thought about his son, but in the moment, within a fraction of second, then immediately he also remembered Lord Narayan by the divine mercy because of his pious credit, because of his bhakti unmukha sukruti. And but he was not immediately, he didn't go into spiritual world. There was a time, at least 6 months or a year. Then he was just immediately Amadutas left as soon as he came to consciousness, he saw what happened, that how he was about to die, but he was saved. Then he got into conflict, then he left his wife and family, everything, and he went to Haridwar and he performed his bhajan. Then he perfected. Then he has got the aeroplane. The Vishnu Dutas came, appeared. Then they have taken him to the spiritual world. After some time, he was not pure. He still has impurities at that time. But because of his pious credits, Yamadutas cannot touch him. As we are discussing, one who is performing Krishna conscious activities, he will get at least human birth, guaranteed. But he will not be touched by Yamadutas. So that is the benefit this 2.40 is given. So that's why I went further to describe what is Sankhya Yoga in the 2.39 to understand the whole creation, how it is happening. And if you didn't hear, please hear it so that in the recording, so that things gets cleared out. We know what exactly how it is happening. 2.40 also, what exactly danger means, what danger, what is the fear, what fear we need to know, so that we are better off. If you know that if you do these things, this is what is going to happen in future, then we are very careful. At least we get some knowledge, and then we try to correct our mistake, we try to change our course of action. But if you don't even know, we take it for granted, we take it lightly, then it's not going to help. So that's why I thought it's a good thing to discuss about what happens after death, and what type of body we get, what type of suffering we have to go through, so that we change our course of action and we do with some intensity, some plan of action, what we do in this life, in whatever days and months and years left in our this body. So that is the my thought and idea to discuss this.
So,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Yes, go ahead.
soul after certain period of time take another body,
Yes,
another family, another religion, something like that.
correct.
They may be pitra for someone, they may be ancestor for someone. So by doing charity and services, how it is going to benefit them when they have already taken a form in another body? They are not in some loka, they are on the Prithvi loka, Bhuloka or somewhere in the animal form or anything. How,
So
by doing the
yeah,
charity, how do we know? Or maybe it is benefiting those who never liberated me.
no. So what happens is, see, that's why when we take their name, we take their gotra, and then we offer those credits when we do that particular puja or ceremony, a sacrifice, and it is offered on their name, particular name, and then naturally it is offered whether they are in the Pitril planet, whether they are in the hellish planet, whether they are in the some other planet suffering or enjoying, they are getting the credits. So they will be growing their credit, they are improving their credits, whatever body they are going to get. So that's what it is. But we know, because generally the family members know what kind of activities he has performed. My father, my grandfather. Then if he is already spiritually, as he is a wonderful devotee, wonderful activity has performed his whole life. He was always charitable. He was always worshipping and doing various things. Then we don't need to worry, because he's already on the path. But only if somebody may not be in that level, somebody might have performed some sinful activity, he might have suffered a lot also while passing. This also, everything is, there's a clear direction in the Shastra, everything. If somebody is going through certain suffering, like some neurological, some various skin diseases, for everything Shastra is clearly laying out. And there is also Bhrugu Samhita, it gives what was your past, what is your present, what is your future. I mean, not all so many lifetimes, at least the previous life, current life, and future life. At least for major percentage, 70-80%, especially in Tamil Nadu or Kerala, specific people, different groups, different societies are there who has this understanding of this Bhrugu Samhita. Based on that, they are able to explain. So same way, the type of disease we get, everything is Shastra is explaining. If particular living entity has performed certain particular things, then he has to suffer. Nobody else can suffer. That particular person only can suffer. But to alleviate, if somebody has offered something, then naturally he will be able to get benefit. not maybe whole thing, but some portion, at least. Instead of suffering 100 days, he may suffer only maybe 5 days, 10 days, and he may not suffer too much internally. He may be able to come out much more easier. So that is a benefit of. So there is nothing wrong whether they are there in what planet. We don't need to be concerned about it, and we need to have a faith, because Shastra is clearly laying out those details. So that's why we offer, and Lord has done it. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has done it. Lord Krishna has done it. I'm sure many other personalities, incarnations, they are showing by their example, offering this Shraddha ceremony, Pinda Pradhan, anniversary. This is done. So, because that is supposed to, then Arjuna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita what he is saying. After third and fourth reason, he is going in detail. Sinful activity, I don't want to fight, because and then further he is mentioning these community projects will stop, this Pinda Pradhana will stop, then they will. Because then if this Pinda Pradhan is not done, then Varna Sankara, because the male are killed, then unwanted population will increase, and then they will get ghastly bodies. All this, he is talking about one by one, all various reasons. In that, this Pinda Pradhan thing is also there. Because this is supposed to be done for, at least for those who are not Krishna conscious, at least these activities supposed to be done. So, yeah, the verse is one who is performing Krishna conscious activity, for them this is not necessary, this is not mandatory. Devarshi bhutapta nuninam naim nunich rajan sarvatmana saranam saranyam gato mukundam parihurta kartam. As long as he has worshipped the Lord Mukunda and performs Krishna conscious activities, then if his immediate family, his father or grandfather, they can be delivered. You just need to, you can offer his credits to them, then he can pray and do some puja on their name. He can do, then that's it. They will be able to come out of that particular condition very quickly.
So Prabhuji, it's like same thing in a different form. Like we know, soul never created nor destroyed. So do we have
Yeah.
a fixed number of souls? Those keeps on coming and going.
Yeah, they are called, what do you call, Nitya Baddhas and Nitya Muktas. Eternally liberated, always in spiritual world. Just like same, you have a prison house, you have a regular, in the country, how many prisons are there? Only limited portion. Rest of them, it's a huge place. So many living entities are there. So same way, the soul, spirits are always there. 3/4 is in the spiritual world. Those are eternally liberated. But there is 1/4 portion who doesn't want to follow rules, who wants to do their own thing. Then they are the ones, they have been pushed to this space, particular 1/4 creation, like a prison house, this material world. That's what they are being pushed, these souls. And there is innumerable souls. There is no count. What we are talking, that 8.4 million species is within this. This is 8.4 million species. It means types. It's not a actual the whole number. That itself, in this one universe itself, it is much more than that, 8.4 million. Just like if you take within the 7 continents itself, population is more. So the 8.4 million species is types. These many types of forms are there. But the innumerable souls are innumerable. In spiritual world, 3/4 creation itself innumerable. We cannot count it. In the material world also we have, but it's only 1/4. So that's how we need to know. But the spirit soul is always there. There is no birth, there is no death. But it is the consciousness, the choice, the free will. The living entity is making the choice. Like before he is entering into prison house, he's thinking, I'll like to do whatever I like. I want to go 100 miles. Let me buy a sports car and drive. There are people, right? So we might have done that too. So because we are energetic, we are young, at that time we don't know, so we get on and want to enjoy, without having a proper knowledge. Then what to do? Then we have to suffer. We might be get away with it, because nobody has saw, we didn't get punishment. But in the law of karma, there is no escape. So we have to get suffering. Then we will get thrown into these various types of prisons of this material world, whether it's hellish planets or pitri planet. So its soul is innumerable. Because desire is the one which is causing us to enter into this particular landscape of various planets, various species of life. But otherwise, we'll be with the Supreme Lord, enjoying nicely. But we are thinking, oh, this is not, let me do my own activities, let me enjoy myself, let me be the master. So that is what is caused us to be here. So, but gradually things will be cleared. Just practice, go on practicing. Whatever doubts, these things will get cleared. Because it's not one day thing. It's a gradual progress as we understand more and more the maturity, more and more intelligence Krishna gives through the spiritual master, Mr. Prabhupada, so that we'll be able to understand everything better. Is that all right, Sanjay Prabhu?
Yes, thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. So let me take, I think Atul Prabhu or somebody has question already late 9:48. Atul Prabhu or somebody has question?
Prabhuji,
Yes,
no,
go ahead.
I have a question for that, Prabhu.
Go ahead.
My question was there, like we discussed about Atha, Patavita, Guru, Loka, and all these things, like demon lives in the Pata, right? Those portion I didn't get it like correctly, like how come it lives in another ground thing, means like only as under.
No, I'm not clear. I'm not able to understand. What is the question? Repeat that.
No, we discussed earlier, right? Like Guru, Loka,
Yeah,
Pata,
correct. Planetary systems.
right?
Yes,
Demon lives in a Pata.
correct.
So how come they are under the Patal Lok somewhere,
Yeah,
Because all demons live.
it is mentioned, means a little bit confusing. Yes, I know there are in the Boar Loka, Bhuloka, and between heavenly planets, Swarga Loka, there is a Boar Loka. There it is mentioned Bhutas, Pretas, Pisachas. But also it is mentioned, I think, in one place. I will have to check again. Rakshas are also mentioned. But the bottom planet, definitely there are different types of demons. The more you go down, more types of snakes are there. Like Maya Danava demon is there. Then some other demon's name is mentioned in the below earthly planet. Yes, because they are gross body. The demons means they will have more and more, because more too much in ignorance means gross body. A little bit passion means gross and subtle.
Okay.
More goodness means you will get a subtle body. That's why it is based on what mode you are operating. Then accordingly, what mode we operate, then accordingly within this even jurisdiction also will be born in certain type of country, certain type of family. It's all everything is based on three modes of material nature. That's why you see even in the trees also, one with the mode of goodness means it has flowers, fruits, it gives so much benefit to the others. Same way in the animals also, the dog is at the lowest level and the cow is at the highest level, because cow gives so much benefits. So in every species of life there is a mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So
Okay, so that point of view, yeah, I think I now I got that. The point of view is mode of happiness and all this passion like that. So I was wondering, like, how come the demon plays under that?
yeah,
That's what I had a question. And one more thing about the right walls, we say, like, every offers from the right walls, it means something for, like, until the 13th day of the,
correct.
right?
Yeah,
So isn't it travel time to the, some yojans, I don't know the measurement wise,
yeah,
they
it
have
is.
to, Saul has to travel, and
Yeah,
during the travel time, they face a lot of troubles,
correct.
and each and every troubles can be suited by our offerings, like on his name or something like
Correct.
that. We offer
Yeah.
them as a food,
Yes.
and that they get the benefit from there, right?
Yes.
I heard that on the fifth month somewhere, the cow helping out to the cross the river or something kind of the things.
Yeah.
Isn't it true? Everything
What is that? Last one. What did you
is
say?
it true? Like means like to travel the like after the leaves the body after 13 days they travel towards
Yeah. Yes, we covered it.
all these things,
Yeah, I got your question.
right? And
So
then
I got your question, I
at
think.
the fifth month, they have to travel some kind of big river or something, and at the time, the cow helps them to cross the river or something. And at the time, your offering or something that helps them to cross that river or something.
Yeah, I got your question. It is mentioned Garuda Puran clearly that after it is 86,000 yojanas are there. Each day after 13th day, one he gets yatana body. He's going every day 247 yojanas. It takes 1 year to come to the crossover the 16 cities and various types of suffering he is going through during that. At the end of 1 year of 86,000 yojanas, then he will cross over this Vaitarani river. But as part of the process, if somebody is offering after that till 13th day, and even after that also somebody is offering devotional services on his name, then definitely his suffering gets reduced, and gradually instead of suffering a longer period, then he may suffer less, and then he may get next body much quicker because of his offering of. And also other than this 13th day, 13 days, also there is a specific period, specific month, I think, I don't remember exactly. In a year there is a Pitru Paksha, it is mentioned the Shraddha ceremonies everybody offers. That is also special month, and also this especially specific Ekadasis we have to read. Just hearing the glories of Ekadasi itself removes so many sinful activities. In some of the Ekadasi, it is clearly laid out. Somebody, our fathers, forefathers are suffering, our son or whoever, our family members, then they get be relieved if we follow that whatever instructions for specific Ekadasi. So this is also very important. Putrada Ekadasi is also one of them. So if we read carefully and then follow that instruction, then it benefits a lot for us and also for that particular living entity.
Right. Because I heard from our devotees like that the fifth month there is a big river to cross and the cow can help it. So whatever you do your sacrifices towards cow,
Yeah.
that helps the soul to travel smoothly and with any what is called like pain or something.
Yeah, here
That's why I heard that about I know the rice ball thing is, I heard that, and it is, everyone is getting that too, that rituals, but the Yojan wise, I was little confused, but now you said it is 84 some kind of Yojan.
86,000 and two every day 247 yojanas. So that's why it takes 1 year. Yeah.
Correct. That was my question too.
Okay, so with that we'll stop here. If anybody else has question, please reach out to me, email or call me, or next class you can ask because it's already 9:55.
Nice topic we covered today.
Huh? Yeah.
About it. It is like so much to go back again and read it again, get more clarity, but that was a really nice lecture today.
Always Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Always Prabhupada.